The man was stranded in the Arctic. The first thing he did every morning after waking up was come here to shovel snow. He didn't stop until the black soil underneath was exposed. He even didn't let go of a tiny white stone. He did this just to make the black look more conspicuous here, for this was a huge SOS distress signal. He had been stranded in the Arctic for 3 years. Every day, the man repeated 3 tasks. The second task was to go to the trap, to check his catch of the day. Since there was no bait, catching nothing was common. But just then, another nearby trap made a violent clattering sound. He hurried over, and slowly lifted the wire. It was an Arctic-specific salmon. Even though he'd caught prey, there was no joy on the man's face. He had been eating this kind of food for a full 3 years. After regaining his strength, the alarm went off. He took the signal transmitter and climbed to the highest point, shaking the device to send a distress signal to the outside world. But no one ever responded. The Arctic was in the polar day phase now, so the man could only rely on the alarm to remind himself to go back to sleep when the time came. Day after day like this, the man repeated the same tasks on time every day. The next day, when he went to the glacier to check for food, he found the remains of several fish scattered nearby. The man already had a guess in his mind. After looking around to confirm it was safe, he hurried back to the plane wreckage, closing the door quickly. The sealed space made the man feel extremely secure. He was glad the polar bear had left the camp, but after resting, the man still had to risk going to the mountaintop. While the device sent signals, he kept a close eye on all movements around him. Otherwise, he might become the polar bear's prey. Yet again, there was no response today. Just as he was about to go back, the indicator light suddenly switched from red to green. This meant someone was nearby, and had received his distress signal. The man quickly kept shaking the generator. As the green light flashed continuously, a helicopter actually appeared not far away. Seeing hope right in front of him, he quickly took out a signal flare, pulled it open, and waved it wildly while shouting. Looking at the helicopter within reach, the man thought he was about to be saved. But unexpectedly, just as the helicopter was about to land, a storm hit. The man stood there in a daze. Desperate tears welled up in his eyes. He ran to the helicopter quickly. When he pulled the pilot out, the pilot had already died. Fortunately, the woman in the co-pilot seat was still alive, but her stomach was injured. If not treated in time, she would die from wound infection. The man hurriedly rummaged through the plane. Luckily, he found a first aid kit, but it could only suture the wound temporarily. The man felt extremely guilty. If he hadn't sent the distress signal, the two of them wouldn't have suffered this disaster. But now that things had happened, the woman could only rely on him. So the man went back to the helicopter to collect supplies again. This time, he found a gas stove, but when he turned around, he saw the male pilot half buried in the snow. He took off the pilot's clothes, then buried him not far away. It was a way to make up for some of the guilt in his heart. Later, while rummaging, he was pleasantly surprised to find a lighter. As the flame was lit, a long-lost smile appeared on the man's face. This meant he no longer had to eat raw food. He quickly put the lighter in his pocket. In the icy and snowy Arctic, this was a luxury. Just as he was about to search another area, he accidentally found a photo. Only then did he know the woman and the pilot were a couple, and they also had a newborn child. This made him feel even more guilty, and it was because of this sense of debt that he decided he must take the woman out of the Arctic.